It's been a quiet end of the summer for the livestock markets, and here to discuss that is our old friend Derrell Peel. Derrell, this time last year it had been kind of a chaotic time. We'd had a lot of sell-offs in the market. There was a lot of reaction to last year's drought. What are we seeing in contrast this year?
You know, this year's drought is really quite a lot different than last year's drought, and probably a little more typical in that the drought effects have accumulated over the summer, but we started with a spring, we had some moisture, we grew some forage, we made a little hay, and so, you know, we haven't had the kinds of summer sell-offs that we had last year because conditions haven't gotten as bad as quickly this year. But if you look at where we are right now, conditions are very much as bad as they were this time last year. Oklahoma has about almost 80% of all pasture and range rated as poor to very poor. Producers are reporting that water supplies are now becoming critically low in some cases. So we're going to face some of the things in the next few weeks that we really haven't faced this summer compared to last summer.
All right, so then heading into the fall, what should producers be doing?
Well, again, partly because we sold off last year, we haven't needed to liquidate cattle as early this year. But I think if producers really need to sit down right now and look at, realistically at their forage supplies, their hay supplies, and their water supplies, and think about whether they need to, go ahead and do some early culling or some early weaning. First of all, get those calves off, perhaps, maybe some early culling, get some of those cows off, and make sure that we, stretch the available water and feed as far as we can. Really, the point here is that producers need to be planning now for what conditions are going to be like for them in, say, January or February. They need to be thinking ahead, and they've still got a little time to do some drought management things that are earlier this fall rather than waiting until later.
All right, let's talk about market effects then. What's really going to happen due to the drought conditions now as we head into the fall?
Well, the one thing that happened because the drought was much bigger nationwide this year, we did see more market impact on prices during the summer, and we've actually recovered from some of that because much of those effects around the country have passed their peak at some point. However, I do think both in Oklahoma and in other parts of the country, producers may begin to realize, particularly with respect to the cow herd, that they do need to do some additional culling. So we could see a fairly strong, culling market this fall. Cull cow prices usually reach their seasonal low in late October, early November, and that could be a bit more pronounced or at least very seasonal this year. So again, if a producer looks at that and says, I'm going to need to get rid of some cows, they probably want to do it earlier this fall in the next few weeks rather than waiting till later when everybody else may be doing it.
All right, good information as always. Derrell Peel, Oklahoma State University's Livestock Marketing Specialist.